contacted by a boat owner called John Williams, who's got this absolutely stunning Sunseeker Superhawk 40. It's a beautiful machine. He said, why don't you come down and take a look at it? And I asked him whether we could do a meet the owner, because I know you guys are always interested in those. And he said, absolutely. So I'm down in sunny Torquay, and we're going to meet John, and he's going to show us his beautiful boat, because this is an absolutely gorgeous machine. Let's go and say hello. Hi, John.
Morning, Nick.
How you doing?
Good, thank you, and you?
Very well. Thank you very much. Love your boat. This looks absolutely stunning.
Thanks. Nice day for it as well.
Perfect, isn't it? Yeah. Very lucky with the weather. So, tell us a little bit about the boat. What age is this one?
It's 2005, so 15, coming up 16 years old now.
Really, it looks absolutely immaculate. And I think what we'll do is, if you can show us around the boat a little bit first of all, and then we'll sit down and have a chat about why you bought it and what you like about it and all that kind of stuff. But it looks to me like you've done a lot of work on this one, I'm suspecting. It doesn't look factory, shall we say.
No, we've made some enhancements, some aesthetic, some for practical use.
Yep.
And on top of that, general maintenance, which I'm just about capable of doing myself. So
brilliant.
Yeah, lots of hard work, but a good hobby.
Excellent, excellent. Well, shall we start right at the back and work our way forward, and then you can tell us a little bit about it. So this is clearly very much a high performance machine rather than a cruiser. So we've got this big sunbed on the back, and it's very low profile. And it looks like you've got the illuminated sign on the back.
Yeah, it's one winter I thought, yeah, it'd be nice to have some illuminated signs. So yeah, I did a bit of research on YouTube, as you know all about YouTube, of course.
I've heard of it.
So yeah, I made these at home in my little office at home.
Wow.
And yeah, we got them on a remote control. So white lighting. I'm not a lover of the blue, but that's personal preference.
Of course.
Yeah, so those match the underwater white lights we've got as well. So it looks beautiful in the night.
Brilliant, brilliant. And it looks to me like this has been reupholstered?
Yes, we had this done just 2 years ago now.
Right.
And slightly ironically, we had it done by Sandbanks Covers in Poole.
Yeah.
And Rob from there was the guy that originally upholstered the boat, because he used to do all of Sunseeker's upholstery.
Wow.
So he said, oh, I know this boat. Yeah, it was the last few that we did.
Yeah.
So yeah, small world.
Absolutely. And this would have been white, I think, originally, would it?
It was off-white.
Okay.
Yeah, we chose the off-white.
Yeah.
I think, you know, certainly when we bought it, it was the colour scheme that we liked. This is just slightly off-white, not too glary.
Oh, I see. So the GRP is off-white, and then the...
And this was, yeah, just a little lighter than that.
Yeah.
But yeah, certainly... But the old style, the old ribbing style.
I know.
This is much more modern. And we had some good advice about, you know, what to do. And we made this one pad and not two.
Right.
So standard there too.
Of course. Yeah. Yeah. That looks better.
Yeah,
Brilliant. Thank you very much.
If you see anything that's slightly different, please ask.
Yeah. Well, the first thing I'm noticing is all the colour coding on top of the radar arch there. Is that how it came?
No. All this was white.
Was it? Right.
Everything was white. There's a bit of a long story, so maybe we just jump to the helm.
Of course.
Tell you the story. So, quite a few years ago, my wife, struggling to find what to buy me for Christmas one year, she chose to go up to Sunseeker here and purchase this nice brand new modern style steering wheel to replace the old walnut.
Right.
Which was looking a bit dated.
Yeah.
So I think it took me 3 years to build up the courage then to fit this, because obviously the black wouldn't go with the walnut, so we ended up completely modifying this dashboard.
Okay.
Fitting 2 new Axiom Ray Marines, so we use this one for radar, this one for chart and navigation.
Wow.
We removed some of the superficial gauges.
Yep.
Speedometer, for example.
Yeah.
Never really worked, and we don't need that.
No, it's all on the display now, isn't it?
On the GPS.
Yeah.
Moved some of the gauges down here. Fitted this, so this is a switch between them, so this is a sort of manual interjection to these, and these are touchscreen as well. So
okay.
And we fitted a remote searchlight.
Right, because that does look a lot more modern, because the original on here would have been like a walnut fascia, like a sort of like an old Jaguar car or something, wouldn't it?
It did look very, very dated, I have to say.
Yeah.
So then this was all black, and I don't know, I had this marvelous idea. Let's look at actually color coding us. I had to have a new digital radar.
Right.
So I got this sprayed.
Yep.
The aerials and the TV and the searchlight was sprayed.
Yep.
And then I had the radar arch actually wrapped.
Oh, okay.
Vinyl wrapped.
It looks perfect, I have to say. I would assume that was painted. It looks really good.
It is very, very good. And this is probably 4 or 5 years old now.
Really?
So,
it's stood up well, hasn't it?
There's a lot of work to do because I have to take everything off.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a box of bits on the back. So.
I can imagine.
It was worth it, and I think it really modernises it without changing the look to something that's just too modern.
Yep. Yeah, no, I agree. I agree.
And a few things as we did as well. We took just aesthetically on the black when we were doing this. We actually put some black window shields on.
Right.
So they're flush fitting now outside, and some of the stainless and there was some chrome badges that just didn't look great and they were deteriorating. So we took those off as well. So it's looks a little more stealth-like now, I think.
Yeah, a bit smoother.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And this has of course all been reupholstered.
Yeah, this was all reupholstered, and I guess for anyone that knows anything about Hawks and Superhawks, probably looking at this doesn't look like a Superhawk 34 or a Superhawk 40 seating arrangement for the helm.
No, not at all.
So the original was a very low, not really even a bolster, very narrow perch to sit on,
right,
very thin, and on a long run you sort of swayed from side to side, didn't give you enough support, and it was harsh on the base of your spine.
Right.
So I modelled this on a friend of mine's Superhawk 43. And it's pretty horrendous what I did. I literally cut the old one to pieces and made a temporary pattern, fiberglassed it all, and then took all of this to Sandbanks Covers and said, can you make this look like new? He did then all the upholstery, so we got some really nice thick foam. Yeah. So on a long run now we're held in sturdy. Yeah. Nice lot of support. Yeah. So we can go for hours and it's perfect now. Yeah, that's a huge improvement. So you actually made that yourself? Yeah, yeah. That's impressive. Yeah, it was slightly nerve-wracking, but yeah. Good job. Fantastic. YouTube's amazing. Yeah, that came from YouTube as well, did it? The fiberglass. No, it was made it out of lots of pieces of wood to start. Yep. Made a fiberglass frame. Yep. Took the frame off, removed all the temporary wood, fiberglassed it back on, and just gelled it then into the main seating. I've got to say that looks completely factory. If I didn't know, I would just assume that's how it came out of the factory. And yeah, as I say, part of it's aesthetic. Yeah. But more importantly, it's the practicality of feeling sturdy, safe. Yeah. And it's a height that we can sit down and we've been across the channel, just sit down for a couple of hours and perfect. Yeah. Brilliant. Okay, that's really good. Should we have a look inside? Yes, carry on. I'll slip my shoes off. Now I think it's very important to say that this is a high performance boat. So you buy a boat like this because you want a Porsche 911, not because you want a Mercedes E-Class. So the space in here, I think, reflects the performance and the style of the boat, because you certainly get a lot less space than something like a Fairline Targa 34. But that's the trade-off, of course, for having a high performance boat, isn't it? Absolutely. And yeah, we'll talk about some of the choices we had to make as a family when we purchased the boat. But yeah, this was our choice. I don't think anything was going to sway us from this. Yeah. So in terms of modifications down here, we've done very, very little. We've fitted a TV into the cupboard, which is nicely concealed. We just changed the bedding to modernise that a bit. Yeah. I had this table made actually by a guy that's done you've done a video of Richard. Oh yes, Richard Churchill. Richard Churchill. So he made me this, which is, if I want to move my office down here for a day or so, I can, which is nice. Yeah. When it was new, we had our daughter with us. There was a table that goes in here, infill cushions, and we could have a separate bed. So there's always three of us. Right. As my daughter's grown up and her and her partner have got her own boat now, I made this, which is a bit more practical than having the centre table. We've got microwave in here. Just quite handy. Oh yeah. All slides back. Ah, very good. So it's nice. All the standard glasses. Yeah. Fridge. Hob that's never been used. Right. Chopping board for the limes for the Corona. Yeah. Excellent. Little sink. Small toilet. Shower. Okay. Yep. It does its purpose. Yeah. You can't have a dance in there, but as you say, we haven't bought a large boat. It is sports, and that's a bit of a compromise. Yeah. Yeah. But I think whatever boat you've got, there is always a compromise. Absolutely. I think you said earlier, price, speed, performance, space, accommodation. Yeah. Covers, hardtop, and we like the open boat. So I'm with you 100% on that.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
do
don't know
like
whether
it,
you've noticed, we've only got a tonneau in the marina.
Okay.
We don't have the campers at all.
Right.
Because the performance of it would rip the campers off anyway. So we just don't bother.
Yeah.
And if it's raining, we don't go out.
No.
We've got a lot of seat covers that we put on to protect the upholstery.
Yeah.
But that's it.
Brilliant.
Well, I guess the last thing, just under where your stud neck, if
Yep,
you want to just pull,
of course.
Let me just pull this top table up.
Oh, look at that. I would never have known that's there.
The original Sunseeker and our salad tongs.
That's fantastic. I love little details like that. And everything's held really super safe so that when you're going along, it's not starting to sort of rattle against everything else.
So 15 years and not one breakage.
That, for such a high performance boat, actually, that's pretty impressive. That's fantastic. And talking performance, can we have a look at the engines and talk about those?
Yeah, sure. So just a little infill cushion to move.
Yep.
Nice hydraulic ram. I actually changed the standard ram that comes with these is electric and it's very slow.
That's amazing. That's so much better.
So
You waste your whole life waiting for those to go up. So what are these engines in here?
So they're Volvo KAD 300s.
Yep.
They're 285 horsepower.
Okay, and those are on stern drives, I think I'm right in saying.
Stern drives, yes. Stainless steel props.
Oh, nice. Yep.
I've actually tweaked them a little bit. So these boxes above here, there's some sort of increased performance magic black box in there. So they'll probably knock in 300.
Wow. And what sort of performance does that give you?
So top end is about 43.
43, that's flying.
But probably the impressive bit is if we cruise anywhere, it's 35, 36 knots.
Right, yeah.
So that's Jersey, Guernsey, well, Guernsey in just less than 2 hours.
Yeah, yeah.
Poole in just under 2 hours.
That makes a difference because that makes those places weekendable, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
on my boat, it's like if we're going to Poole, we would want to go for maybe a week because it's a sort of a 4 or 5 hour trip up and a 4 or 5 hour trip back. But in this, you could leave at 10 and be there for lunch, couldn't you?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we've done Poole, we've done the Isle of Wight. Certainly Poole we've done quite a few times, just for 2 or 3 days,
Yeah.
a couple of days. Yeah, it's fantastic.
Awesome, awesome.
Something else that's noticeably different for any viewers that understand and know these boats, it's not the traditional red engine room.
Oh, of course, yeah, I hadn't realised,
So,
yeah.
From my old days of building rally cars,
Yeah.
one of the first things we always used to do was paint the engine room white
Right,
for ease of use.
right,
You can see a lot more, it's a lot brighter.
yeah.
So yeah, I actually spec that from new.
Okay, so originally all this GRP, just to explain, so the bits that you can see down here and all around the edge.
Yep.
Sunseeker do a thing back on these boats back in the day with the high performance boats where they'd always do that in a red gel coat, which looks very cool. But of course it means if you've got any oil drips or anything like that, it's not so easy to spot, and of course it's not as bright, whereas this reflects everything. And I've got to say as well, John, it's super clean in here.
Yeah, I do keep it nice. It's interesting actually. These boats have got a deep V hull, as you know.
Yeah.
And there is one design fault, and hopefully Sunseeker don't beat me up for this. But there was a design fault with these. So at the performance, you get the air intakes pushing the cold air in under the side.
Yeah.
But it brings a lot of moisture in with it.
Ah, okay.
We had a lot of water in the bilge, and about 5 or 6 years ago I took both engines out,
Yeah.
stripped them completely, sandblasted them,
Wow.
repainted them,
Yeah.
because they'd gone seriously rusty, and now I keep on top of it
Yeah.
a little bit better.
Yeah. Yeah.
One other modification, you might be able to see this, you notice there's actually no covers on the belts.
Okay, yeah.
Those covers just kept falling off.
Right.
So this belt tensioner, there's 2 of these on each engine to keep these belts the right tension.
Okay, yeah.
They're normally nylon,
Right.
and they're prone to just breaking up.
Right.
So my father-in-law is an engineer, and he actually made those for me out of aluminium, and we got some £5 replaceable bearings that I can change as and when. So they're fantastic. They've transformed it as well.
Yeah. Brilliant. That's really good. That's very impressive to see. And the performance is that's unbelievable.
It is. It's great. I have to say.
Yeah, I'm very jealous. Cool.
Just put this cushion back.
Sure. So I think it'd be really interesting to talk about you.
Yeah.
And what I would like to know first of all is how you got into boating.
Oh, that is quite a long story. So back in the day, 20 odd years ago, we lived in South Wales. And a friend of mine sort of said, I'm going to go and buy a boat. So I said, that sounds a great idea. Let's go, I'll come with you.
Yeah.
So anyway, cut a long story short, bought a 19-foot Rinker speedboat.
Okay.
Kept that in Swansea Marina for a few years. Swansea Marina, for any of you that know that, it's probably 11-metre tides there.
Yeah, it is huge, isn't it?
You have to go through 2 locks.
Yeah.
You come out of the second lock, out to the ocean, and you're greeted by the Swansea Cork ferry.
Right.
That's quite daunting if you're in a 19-foot boat.
Yeah.
And of course the tide was went in and out so far, you couldn't really anchor in a bay because, you know, 15 minutes and you'd be dried out. So we decided to move the boat to Torquay. So we actually trailered it and kept it over in Riviera Boats when it was there over on the Beacon Quay.
Yeah, I know.
So that was good. We used to drop it in every day, every weekend.
Yeah.
We used to travel down here every weekend, and me, my wife and my daughter, we used to drive down all enthusiastic about our weekend boating. And then on the Sunday we didn't used to speak because we had to drive home back to our routine jobs. So we said we're going to move. So we moved to Torquay 20 years ago.
Oh wow, I hadn't realised. Okay.
Yeah, and then upgraded the boat to a 23-foot Rinker.
Yeah.
Had that in the marina.
Yeah.
And we were using the boat a lot. We were going a lot of places. We said, you know, we're really hooked on this as a hobby for the family.
Yeah.
So we were umming and ahhing whether to go 23, 27, 32, 38, or whether to go 23, 40.
Right. Go all the way in one hit.
So, and as much as it sounded a little bit crazy at the time, you can imagine the cost difference.
Oh, totally, yeah.
It was slightly scary. But looking back on it, 15, 16 years down the line, we did the right thing.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
We bought the right boat at the right time. And yeah, not look back.
And you bought this boat, I think you were saying earlier, brand spanking new.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you had it completely to your own specification.
We did. We went to, I think it's 4 or 5 years before Suzanne and I went to the London boat show. I think it was at Earl's Court at the time, so it shows how long ago that was.
Yeah, indeed.
And we went to the Sunseeker stand and sat on, I think it was probably a Superhawk 48 at the time, and I remember sat at the helm and said to Suzanne, we'll get one of these one day. And yeah, probably lots of people say that. Anyway, so yeah, 15, 16 years, or 16 years ago now actually, the Southampton boat show, 16 years ago. Yeah. We went to the Sunseeker, and we did quite a lot of research before. And we were looking at a Crunchy Endurance 39.
I know, yeah.
Targa 34.
Yeah.
And this.
Yeah.
And I think we'd sort of, you know, 80% of us wanted this, but we needed to go and look at the others to make sure we were doing the right thing.
Of course, and that Targa is quite different from an accommodation point of view as well, of course.
It is. And it was strange. There was just a couple of little things about the Targa that turned us off. Yeah. We didn't really need the accommodation. We just felt we could make do.
Yeah, of course.
And yeah, we were swayed to this, and yeah, David Jones at Sunseeker Pool was, I have to say, fantastic. It was the best sales experience I've ever had for anything. Really? Whether that's a car, whether that's a... Right. But no, it was the best sales experience because we weren't being sold to, we were being advised. Right. And it wasn't we were being advised how to spend our money in terms of spending more. It was, you know, buy that, but don't buy that. Yeah. Buy that, but you won't really need that. That's going to be a bit of a pain for you. Yeah. Then we got to the colour scheme, and David said, well, what about colour schemes? Because at the time it was navy blue hull, yellow stripe. Yeah. And that was probably the biggest decision I was struggling with, but my wife made the decision for me and chose the black. And I think that was a good move. Oh, it was absolutely, because the blue and the yellow still look classic. Yep. But I think the black, for me now, looks much nicer. Yeah. Yeah, well, it's totally modern, isn't it? That's the thing. I mean, what you say is completely right. The blue and the yellow, it is classic, and it does look good, but it is of its time. It's a 90s colour scheme, whereas this is bang up to date. And what you've done with the radar arch and all that sort of stuff and colour coding it all, it just looks completely contemporary. Yeah, so there, I guess that was the story of the Sunseeker boat show. Put a deposit on it. A couple of months later, probably Christmas time, freezing cold, went for a test drive.
Yeah.
And I had, bearing in mind, I had a 23-foot sports boat Rinker,
Yeah.
with a 350 Magnum in it, which was quick.
Yeah.
We went for a test drive on this. I thought, oh my God, this is quicker. I was blown away.
Yeah.
Took us a long time to get used to it, I'll be honest.
Mm.
Yeah, I can maneuver anywhere now, but it was quite a few years before I really felt I was in complete control of it.
Right.
It does take a while.
Yeah.
But yeah, practice, going slow.
And you've got bow thruster on this one?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
We actually, that was one of the advice we had.
Yeah.
The standard bow thruster that Sunseeker fitted was slightly underpowered.
Right.
So David said, yeah, put the larger horsepower one on.
Yeah.
So that will last, and it'll actually maneuver in a reasonable wind.
That's good advice, because it's a long boat, so you've got a lot of leverage there that you need to overcome.
Yeah, definitely. Little things, stainless steel anchor we had fitted from new.
Yeah.
And 1 foot of stainless steel chain.
Really?
That's cheating, isn't it?
It is. That's fantastic. I never thought of that.
I can't think of the other things that David recommended. Oh, so a cool box under the passenger seat.
Right.
So that complements the fridge.
Yeah, good idea.
I think that was the main things, really.
Yeah.
Colour schemes. We had the table upgraded. We actually did this after.
Right. And this is a folding table, I think I'm right in saying.
It is, yeah. Folds out. So nice for dinner, lunch.
Yeah, that's perfect. And it folds completely away as well, I think.
Yeah, folds over here. This centre cushion comes out.
Yeah.
Lift this. It just folds away behind here.
Perfect.
Which is, yes, perfect.
Yeah. And may I ask, what do you do for a living to fund it?
So I'm a management business consultant in the construction industry.
Right.
So yeah, keeps me busy.
Yeah.
Keeps me funding it.
And this keeps you sane, I guess.
It does, and I've used the term, I think, coming down to the marina and having a boat, you know, whilst it is an expensive hobby, it is a bit of a health insurance policy as well.
Yeah.
Takes your mind off work.
Yeah.
Even if I'm sat in the bilge for 3 hours trying to fix something, it's certainly rewarding to do that, and takes your mind off work and business, definitely.
Absolutely. And I have heard people say that to me on many occasions, actually, that being on the boat is the only time that they completely switch off from hassles ashore, whether it's work, whether it's, you know, family life, whatever it is. You get on the boat and you enter a different world, and all of that is left behind, even if it's only for a weekend, but it just gives you that chance to switch off.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's great. This my wife loves it. We go everywhere on this together.
Yeah.
So my daughter used to go on it everywhere together. She's now and her partner got a sports boat. They still come on it as well. So it's really good. It's been a perfect boat for us, perfect size.
Yeah.
And as you say, the performance just.
That's the thing with it, isn't it? And not just in fact the performance, but from my understanding, I have driven a couple of these. It's not just that it will go fast; it's the fact that it'll keep going fast, even when it chops up. And I think that's where that compromise of you lose some of the accommodation compared to some of the more cruiser-orientated boats, but what you gain is the ability where you're coming back from pool and it's a 2-hour run, and then it chops up, and in some boats that turns it into a 5-hour run, but I'm guessing it stays as a 2-hour run. Yeah.
We've very rarely had to slow down. I can't think when we've slowed down less than 30 knots.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and I wouldn't mention the boats, but we've come back into here after a run across Lyme Bay. People have said, "Oh, that was horrendous," and we said it was fine. And we don't go out for an endurance test. You know, we go out for pleasure.
Yeah.
I guess in my learning few years, and we're continuously learning, I know, but we did come back from one of the Sunseeker weekends down in the West Country.
Yeah.
And we did come back, and it was quite choppy, and we had a tailing sea, and the troughs, we were getting bigger and bigger, and we did have a lot of water over the front that set the automatic life jackets off inside. So that was, but it's really strange. It didn't frighten us at all.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? It's confidence inspiring.
Boat is so sturdy.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's the thing as well, that people often look at cheaper boats, and I have comments sometimes where people say, you know, I'll put something like maybe a Sunseeker or a Princess, and you say, oh, you could buy an XYZ, whatever it might be, for less, and they're absolutely right, you can, but there is a reason why expensive boats are expensive, and it's the fact, what you've just described, I think, in terms of how sturdy it feels and the quality of it, but I think also the fact that this boat still looks like it does. You look at the stainless steel windscreen, everything else, it still looks perfect, and that's the mark of a quality boat, is the fact that it lasts.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we were also lucky enough to see it built in the factory.
Oh, nice.
So we had a tour of the factory, and
Yeah.
if you saw how they lay the gel coat in these hulls, you can see where the money goes in the build.
Yeah.
And where the strength is. It was incredible.
Yeah. That's
And
what
the attention to detail. You're right. You know, I guess in life you get what you pay for.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's very, very true in boating terms.
Yeah. I'm glad I bought this when I did. I don't think I'd be affording to buy a new one now.
Well, and of course they don't really exist anymore, do they?
Nope.
Sunseeker don't build a boat like this anymore, which I think is a shame. I mean, they're very much into the super yachts and that kind of thing now, and good for them. It's a good business model, I'm sure. But what I'm noticing is that people are buying these boats now and doing them up and reconditioning them and so on, because you just can't get them new anymore.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, you know, this is our, fingers crossed, our boat for life, and hence we look after it and spend a lot of time on it. Keep it looking, as close to new as you can.
And you've just answered my next question.
Oh, sorry.
That's quite right. Which is, what next? Is there another boat? Is there something that you would want to go to next, or is this it?
No, nothing.
This is it forever?
Yeah.
Well, you're a rare man. Because all of us, we all know what we want next. So if you found a boat that absolutely does it for you, then that's amazing.
No, and obviously the finance will be one of the key things. You know, even if there was something out there that was comparable, it would be £500,000 plus.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But there's nothing for me that comes close. Yes, we've had compromises.
Yeah.
You know, we've got a small living area, but we balance that with everything else on the boat that we love.
Exactly. Well, it's a driving machine, isn't it? And it's a distance machine. It's something you can really go places in and come back when the weather's chopped up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know, we have a cruising range of 200 plus miles at 35 knots.
Yeah. Awesome.
And I think, you know, we've always said, you know, yes, we always check the weather before we go. You're going to cross the channel, you can check the mid-channel buoy. I think one thing to remember is it only takes us just under an hour to get to the mid-channel buoy.
Wow.
So I know weather chops up really quick, but you know, you're pretty safe for the next 2 hours.
Yeah, well, you're never more than an hour from home then, are you? Because even if it got rough and you thought, let's abandon this and go home, at any point, you're never more than an hour away from either your destination or your starting point.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's an interesting point.
Yeah, a few years ago we went down to the Scillies, which was fantastic.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, didn't take it. Well, we stopped at Falmouth. I remember getting up in the morning and it was thick fog. You couldn't see a thing. So I went for a cup of tea and a cake. Came back to the boat and I thought this fog's going to clear, and it was like glass all the way to Scillies. It was fantastic.
Oh, brilliant. Wow.
And we have managed to get there since.
Yeah.
It's one of those rare occasions that you just got to grab it when you can.
Totally, totally. Awesome. That has been fascinating. Thank you so much for your time and for showing me your boat, because I think it's just beautiful. I really, really like it. And I'm a little bit jealous. So
My pleasure, Nick. No, it's good. I think it's nice to show, you know, potential other people what's out there, what they can do, what they can use, how they can use a boat.
Yeah, no, that's been brilliant. So there you go. Huge thanks, of course, to John for taking us on board and showing us around, and huge thanks to you guys as ever for watching. I hope you enjoyed that one. Let us know what you think in the comments, and we'll hope to do a few more of these. And just to add, in fact, if you've got an interesting boat and you think that it would be a nice one to feature and you'd like to get it on the channel, give me a shout. You can contact me via Facebook, or you can contact me via Instagram. I'm Aquaholic Nick on Instagram, and I'm just Aquaholic on Facebook. And it'd be great to do some more of these because they're very popular and they're really fun to do. So that's about the size of it, really. As I say, thanks for watching. We'll catch you on the next one. Take care. Bye bye.